Welcome to my views and news. Some news stories. First one is about a top TPLF senior leader who has managed to leave Ethiopia. He was trying to leave Ethiopia, but he was not being allowed to depart. A few months ago, he was stopped at an airport. He sued federal police. I did a video 3 months ago. Secondly, viewers, Gurage PM Abiy was there in Volkite, Gurage's capital city. And as we reported in the previous video that there was a strike in Gurage, but state media, government-backed activists are sharing pictures, videos. They say PM Abiy was warmly welcomed there. We have a clip for you. And thirdly, Gambella viewers, where some members of regional forces have been arrested because they're involved in extrajudicial killings instead of appreciating the move by the government to hold security forces accountable for public executions. A campaign is being seen by some news sources, especially Amharic news sources, in support of these Gambella regional force members. First, viewers, top senior TPLF leader who is not, I think, active now in TPLF has managed to leave Ethiopia. His name is Sebhat Nega, one of the founding members of the Tigray People Liberation Fund, now a wealthy man. He is owner of several businesses and companies. Sebhat Nega was arrested when the first round of fighting happened in Tigray from November 2020 till June 2021. He was arrested from Tigray, put in prison. Then at the start of 2022, he was released from prison. He and 4 other TPLF leaders were granted pardon by Ethiopian PM Abiy. Jawar and others were released too. And after that, he tried to leave Ethiopia. He wanted to go to the US. 3 to 4 months ago, he tried to fly abroad from an airport in Ethiopia, but he was stopped at the airport by federal police. He sued the federal police. PM Abiy granted him pardon and I think charges were dropped against him and other TPLF leaders. But since TPLF was still a terrorist organization according to Ethiopian constitution, Ethiopian law, that is why maybe he was not allowed to leave Ethiopia. And around 3 to 4 days ago, TPLF was removed from a terrorist designation. Sebhat Nega sued federal police. Case was being heard by a court in Addis Ababa. Now, reportedly, he has managed to enter the US. It means he was allowed to leave Ethiopia. And in Washington, he has been seen being welcomed by Mirhane Gebrekristos, a TPLF leader who works in diaspora. A TMH, Tigray Media House journalist, was also seen welcoming him, and some Tigrayans too. It is being said that he has been allowed to leave country on medical grounds. He needs medical treatment abroad. The Firamamu also wants to leave Ethiopia. He is also taking medical ground. He says he is ill. He is injured and he needs treatment abroad. The Firamamu, former head of Amhara Special Force, we saw his pictures yesterday, shared by his wife, that he is seriously ill, but he is not being allowed to leave Ethiopia. He is critical of Ethiopian federal government, Amharic government, that is why. Though if Sebhat Nega can be allowed to leave Ethiopia, why not the Firamamu? Lidito Ayalio was allowed to leave Ethiopia as well when PM Abiy came to power. After that, we saw him, Lidito Ayalio, being sidelined gradually. and then he wanted to leave Ethiopia. He was not allowed. He also wanted to leave Ethiopia on medical grounds. So Ethiopian political elite, whenever it wants to leave Ethiopia, it takes medical grounds. By the way, Dorius Gidom is still in prison. Leader of Tigray Simba Democratic Party, Tigray Opposition Party, in prison for around 2 years. Top TPLF leaders have been granted pardon, but Dorius Gidom is still in prison. Top leaders not only granted pardon, but allowed to leave Ethiopia. But other lower level political workers and some TDF fighters, some not fighters, Tigranian speaking ENDF members are still in prisons. Talks are underway, no release so far. Secondly, viewers, Ethiopian state media and Ethiopian government activists are sharing pictures and videos from today's visit of the PM Abiy of Gurage. PM Abiy was in Gurage in Volkaita city today, where he held discussions with Gurage people, and we saw pictures showing that streets were deserted. Now, pro-government activists are trying to prove that PM Abiy was warmly welcomed there. People were lining up the streets to welcome him. We have a clip for you. Before that, PM Abiy was accompanied by other regional leaders, like regional state leaders, like from Oromia, Shimalis Abdisa was accompanying him. From afar, Abul Arba from Somalian, Mustafa Umar was there, and Azima's leader, Sebhat Nega was there too. All were there at the meeting held by PM Abiy. Now, question is, demand of Gurage people is establishment of Gurage regional state. All these leaders from Afar, Oromia, Somali, they tried to convince the people of Gurage that they should not press for a separate regional status. If government does not want to create a new regional state along ethnic lines, government should change the names of already created states as well. Oromia's name should be changed. Tigray's as well. Amhara's too. These names should be changed if government wants to discourage creation of new regional states along ethnic lines. Otherwise, Gurage's Wolaita, they'll keep on demanding that they should have separate Gurage and Volkaita regional states of Ethiopia. Watch the clip being shared by some government-backed activists to prove that PM Abiy was warmly welcomed in Gurage today, in Volkaita city of Gurage. Lastly, in several videos, I have spoken on extrajudicial public executions in Ethiopia. Security forces have been involved in these incidents in Oromia, BG, Tigray, Amhara regions, but no one was held accountable. Now, for the first time, some security officials have been arrested in Gambella. In Gambella last year, we saw that OLA and GLF, Gambella Liberation Front fighters, entered Gambella city. They looted some facilities there. There was fighting. They had to retreat from the city. And after that, Oromos living in Gambella city, they were targeted. They were accused of backing OLA fighters. And some were killed in broad daylight publicly, accused of OLA members, accused of being OLA members. And we have seen new videos this week, though the videos are from June 2022, showing public execution of people in Gambella city. Now, some commanders and the subordinates of Gambella Regional Force have been arrested for these public executions. Regional government is starting departmental action against them. And we are seeing a campaign in support of these regional officers by some Amharic news sources. The news sources claim that these police officers killed OLA members. OLA members have been killing innocent civilians. And those who are killing, who killed OLA members, they are being arrested, they are being held accountable. Well, public executions must be condemned. Security forces should be held accountable. Otherwise, anyone can be shot dead publicly. Anyone can be accused of being supportive of OLA, supportive of TPLF, supportive of FANO, and killed publicly. This trend, I would say, this is a trend or this is a policy adopted by regional federal forces. This policy should be condemned, and that can only be done by taking action against those who are involved in these killings. Amharic news sources are raising this issue because they obviously don't waste any opportunity when it comes to attacking OLA, when it comes to attacking Oromo regional government. They should realize that this can happen in Amhara region too. So security forces should follow law. That is what their duty is, to follow law, to enforce rule of law. If they violate law and they're not held accountable, then no one is safe. Anyone can be targeted in any part of Ethiopia. Let's see, will the government continue proceedings against these arrested police officials? We'll see. We'll keep you updated. Thank you for watching.